Welcome to the MtnMisfits podcast, where we share our outdoor life together with you. I'm Rad, and this is
Vida.
And we are hikers and fitness fiends. She might be a little bit more of a fitness fiend than I am. I'm a novice, even though I did a little run today. We're nature lovers and life partners who share an outdoor lifestyle.
We share everything.
We share everything.
Everything minus the computer stuff.
Hands off my computer.
I'm a little bit of a Luddite.
Little bit.
And this guy is very good with computers and everything technical.
Well, I hope so. I hope I'm a little technical.
That was kind of your job for like 10 years.
It was my job for 10 years.
Hell, they sent you to England.
They sent me to jolly old England.
So you better know what you're doing.
I better know what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm good at just...
Fibbing.
Just Fibonacci. Right?
What's the saying? If you can't...
if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit.
Bullshit. So you went all the way to England and baffled them.
Baffled for weeks.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So let's not baffle these fine people with bullshit. Let's talk about what's going on with us and being outside and what's coming up. So weird today. It was 51 degrees February 1st. Can you believe that?
Well, let's take it one step back and say yesterday, January 31st, felt like spring. So that puts spring in the middle of January, which is very hard for me to fathom. That's
getting close.
Yes, there's just, I know that we're going to get big dumps of snow here at the end of February or early March, right? But it's just nice to see a little glimpse of hope.
We are getting hope, but the problem is our hopes are always going to be dashed because we'll get like this day, and then we'll get a dump of snow.
Well, you know what? I had not seen the sun in quite a long time. Yeah. So this definitely was hopeful to me.
It was worth it. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So what we did was I woke up, the birds were chirping, I opened the windows, let the air. Let the fresh air. And then I did spring cleaning. And then you and I went
outside.
Playing in the mountain.
We did. But before we get to that, should we do a little bit of news? Mm-hmm. I have the news and she'll have the views.
All right.
That's how we're going to do this. So the first bit of news is hikers are being told to forego their Appalachian Trail this summer.
Why?
Because of COVID. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy is advising thru-hikers to not go this year because of COVID. The shelters in the towns and the facilities that those hikers use along their 2,200-mile trip just are not set up for COVID. They have no way of dealing with it. They can't keep them, what do they call that, the distance?
So you're saying the accommodations can't accommodate COVID, basically, because, 6 feet apart and all that is just not,
And they're sleeping in these shelters and they're literally on top of each other.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. So they're telling them all to not do their thru hike. You can't stop people from doing it, but they're advising
people
to not do it.
I say take that seriously because Rad and I have recently had COVID and it was not fun.
And I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So, take that advice seriously and stay safe.
Definitely. So that's...
I mean, it's not like it's the only hike in the entire country.
Right. Well, you can do other hikes. They're just saying it's the through trip where you have the shelter system.
Oh, it's not. It's just through trip too. You can have a daytime.
You can do day hikes and overnight. It's just, like I said, it's just these trips where the people are going to be in shelters together.
Okay.
In these small towns, using the laundromat, using the post office, this sort of thing.
But I'm going to say that shouldn't be a problem with hikers or real hikers.
Well, I think thru-hikers are real hikers.
Well, no. There's hikers. There's the person who hikes 3 miles somewhere flat and calls themselves a hiker.
Mm-hmm.
And there's someone who basically lives in the mountains.
Yeah.
And does through trips. That's also a hiker. So what I'm trying to say is real hikers, people that are more hardcore. Well, if 3 miles is 3 miles still, right? But I think the label hiker should be reserved for people that are a little bit more fanatic about it and making sacrifices, busting their asses, and blah, 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 blah. But this is what I was going to try to tell you, that I don't think that would be a problem with hikers, because hikers are used to make do with the bare minimum. They have to be flexible. They have to be amenable. So when this news hits, I'm sure they won't be distraught.
I think the same thing happens here. I think the Appalachian Trail, these people are real hikers. They're mega hikers. But there's 2,200, there's 2,000 of them on the trail at the same time, and they all have the same timing. So you're just going to be in close contact with these people. You're just not going to get away from people.
So that definitely takes away from the experience if I'm surrounded by 2,000. I mean, it just feels like I'm in Costco, open air Costco.
I'm sure you have moments of seclusion on that trail. It's so long, but but every night you're with people at every campsite. But I think in the West, in the Rocky Mountains, I think that you should be really careful this summer. Even if you're in a backcountry spot and someone else is there, you don't have to be buddies.
Yep.
You can go as far away on a designated campsite, or if it's a backcountry situation, just get as far away from those people as you can.
So you were planning through trips for us through Glacier.
And that's the plan.
Do you have the same advice for us? Have you changed your mind about doing that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I think we're sort of, but we can distance, because we're not, we don't have those shelters like they do on the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's open air. You can pitch your tent 20 feet away from somebody, 100 feet away from somebody, and get away from them.
And you and I, when we hike, we're definitely not close to somebody.
We are very antisocial.
Yeah.
So I think before we go to the second news story,
all right,
we should crack this.
I agree.
So what
took us so long?
What do they call that?
Delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification. So this is a crowler, which is a 32-ounce can of beer.
So a crowler is something between a can and a growler, hence crowler.
Yep.
I like it.
And this is their Burnt Fork Scotch Ale.
Superb.
So we'll do the sounds of beer pouring. Well, chin chin. Let's taste this. What do you think?
Smooth.
It is really smooth.
Mildly sweet. Low on ABV. Nope.
Deceptive.
Yeah.
It's 7.2.
What's the other acronym I'm looking for?
IBU.
IBU. Very low on IBU.
Yes.
Because I am quite sensitive to the bitterness of hops. I always, detect them in every beer.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost a goose egg.
Mm-hmm. I have no problem with that. Thank you for not putting a shit ton of hops in this beer.
Well, I was looking for some. And it's funny, I tried their hazy and I was going, nope, she won't like this.
Yeah?
Ooh, it was super hoppy.
So it was more like IPA.
It was more like an IPA.
Yeah.
You ready for the second story?
I am ready.
This is where I get my botanizing geek moment on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go for it.
In 2020, 156 new plants and fungi were described to science.
In what?
In 2020.
Yeah, last year.
156 new plants and fungi were described.
Okay.
So they were discovered, and no one knew they existed. Well, science didn't know they existed.
All right.
But one of them is called the ugliest orchid in the world.
Is that possible?
It is. I love orchids, but this thing is from Madagascar, and it's called Gastrodide agincelis. It's Latin. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
There's no right way.
Yeah.
But it's a little tiny orchid. It's only about a centimeter.
Yeah.
And it's a little pale green, ugly thing that's an epiphyte. So it doesn't have roots. It grows in the trees, on the trees, but doesn't parrot. But how this orchid makes its living is it puts off a grotesque, foul odor for flies. So flies pollinate it. Flies think it's something rotten.
Flies think it's shit.
Shit or rotten
to attract the flies, which is stinky to us.
Yeah, and it said fleshy. So I think that means like rotten meat smell.
Oh, like rotten human body?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is definitely gross.
So it's this little it's like a thumb of a toenail of an orchid. It's really ugly.
Which probably smells like a toenail.
It probably smells like, yeah.
Thank you for that little tidbit, though.
You wanted to know about that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Good thing you gave me a little bit of beer beforehand.
You do need a drink before you hear about a rotten flesh orchid.
I guess it's not that bad, but
It is
I had
bad.
expectations when I heard orchid.
I know, you think pretty and I think delicate.
Flowers, wild, wilderness, outdoors, blah, blah, blah.
We're not having any of that with this thing.
Not this one. Okay. All right. But you know what? I'm curious about what it looks like, though, just for myself.
We will put a link to the article on MtnMisfits.com. So people can see the orchid for themselves.
That sounds good to me.
So you want some political news? You want to dip a toe in the politics?
Let's go for it. You know what? I have not kept up with politics last weekend and a half. And I feel like I'm completely out of the loop. You know, once Trump was out of the office, I just checked out. Like, adults are in the White House. We're good. We're fine. The clowns are gone. So I am completely out of the loop. That's what I'm trying to say, which I already said.
You're happily out of the loop, though.
Yeah, because before I was holding my breath and watching. Mm-hmm. Right? So now I am, happily, because I'm just thinking, what's the worst case thing that could possibly go wrong, right?
Right. It can't get worse.
Yeah. We've already had the worst of the worst. So whatever this is, it's going to be better.
Well, this is positive news about the new administration.
I like that.
So when Joseph Biden took office last Wednesday, one of his first executive orders reversed the Trump decision to reduce the size of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante. So it reestablished to the former boundaries of those national monuments, which is awesome. But this is actually only part of his plan. Part of his plan is to have 30% of U.S. lands and ocean protected by 2030.
All right.
Which is great because right now only 12% of our land is in any way protected.
So he's being doubled, more than
almost
double.
Triple. Almost triple. That's pretty aggressive.
Very cool.
So maybe now that like some of the, here in Montana and the West, some of these wilderness study areas and these roadless areas finally do get some real protection from development. I think that would be awesome. And
very well, considering the number of immigrants, not immigrants, entering our state, that's definitely is a concern,
Right, we're getting more and more people.
And they're rich and they can basically buy anything and everything. And what are we left with? 2-3 trails?
Yeah. Well, and think about,
and they're not even here to enjoy it. They buy the house and they fucking leave.
Yeah. Well, and like one of our favorite places, the Great Burn area.
Yeah.
Has no designation. It's not roadless. It's not, it is roadless by virtue that it It has no roads, but it's not designated as a wilderness studied area. It's not designated as a wilderness.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any real protection. It just happens to be in a native wild state.
Okay.
So maybe Great Burn finally gets to become a wilderness area, which is something that's been a long time coming.
I have to admit, when I heard Great Burn, my mind went to beer automatically. So I was trying to figure out how Biden's plan
affects Great Burn Brewing.
And then you talked about wilderness. I'm going, well, I was trying to figure out how the brewery is so wild.
Mike and the gang are going to be a designated wilderness area. It's just the bar.
But then I thought, well, there's a little bit of trees and a little park to do.
Okay. I see it. Which is so back to the topic. So that I think it's a super ambitious plan. I really hope that they can pull that off.
Yes.
Because when you only hear that only 12% of U.S. lands in the U.S. have any form of protection.
Yeah.
That's a get. And we are in the middle of a biodiversity crisis.
Yes.
In the U.S., we have lost 1/3 of our birds.
That's very
since
sad.
the 1970s.
That's very sad.
Could you imagine this even 30 years ago, how much more full the skies were?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I do have a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Beings, humans, birds, animals, wildlife, they evolve, right? Mm-hmm. Have they evolved fast enough to keep up with what we're doing as humans? I mean, with the way we're breaking things down?
I would say this. They haven't evolved fast enough because it just hasn't been. This is so rapid.
Yeah,
we're talking a period of 150 years.
Precisely. I thought that.
But some animals are super adaptable.
Yes, I know.
So you have animals like coyotes are flourishing.
Yep.
Because they can sneak in and around and through the margins of people and be just fine.
Yeah.
Some species are doing really well.
I was reading about birds. I think this one wasn't a corvid. It was a pigeon that was collecting cigarette butts and making a little house, a little nest for itself.
Using cigarette butts? Yeah.
And, it wasn't because the material was just handy and available. The toxins from cigarette butts would keep out insects
and mites.
Mm-hmm. So it was actually working in the pigeon's advantage for very good reasons. It was protective,
Well, nicotine has been used as a pesticide for a long time.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense that you look for a smoked cigarette butt. It's full of nicotine. Throw it in the nest.
All right. Which is very cool to hear, but I imagine that doesn't generalize or expand to a lot more birds. Just a few can adapt as quick as,
Same thing with mammals. I mean, if you're a coyote, you've done really well for yourself. If you're a rabbit, you've done pretty well with yourself with people.
Yeah.
If you're a wolverine, you're not doing so well. You need space and distance from people.
Yeah.
You don't dig on humans.
I still haven't seen one wolverine in Montana. It has eluded me in the past 15 years that I've lived here.
In nearly 49 years, with a lot of time out, how many wolverines have I seen?
You've seen a couple.
Oh, no. Fisher, I've seen a couple.
Oh.
Wolverine, one.
How many are in the state, if you had to guesstimate? If you don't know, what's the guesstimate?
Somewhere between 500 and 1,000. Maybe lower than that. Yeah. Wolverines have like really
big territories.
Huge. Well, not only, and they do something really weird. Not only do they have like distinct territories, because they kind of do.
Yeah.
But they overlap. But like wolverines will just cover massive amounts of distance every day.
Why?
Just looking for food. They just cover ground.
Is their food so scarce that they need to cover a large area?
Well, they are, because wolverines make a lot of their business finding dead things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll predate also, but they also find a lot of carrion.
Tell me what wolverines eat. Actually, I do not know that.
Yeah, they'll, you know, along their way they'll eat plenty of rodents, birds, bird eggs that they can find it, rabbits that they can get them, ground squirrels. They love ground squirrels. But then the other part of their diet is a lot of kill. So they rely on bigger predators to make a kill. Then the wolverine comes in.
We'll go follow. Yeah.
Come
Clean
in
up.
there, clean up, get it. Like a wolverine, they're the ones who will break a lot of the bones to get the marrow.
Right.
You know, they're not. They're, unlike that orchid, they're not rotten meat things.
Yeah.
But they are very fresh. You know, go to it right away and get a kill or a moose leg.
All right.
If they can get it.
All right. And we don't have enough of that in Montana?
Well, just that lifestyle requires a lot of roaming, right? Because you're almost kind of lucking into things.
Okay.
So you got to move a lot, right? It's like you're scavenging.
Yes.
I got to cover a lot of ground to find what I need every day.
Like it now, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Because the mountain lion does not send a memo to Wolverine and say, "Come clean up. I got leftovers for you."
Right. I made a kill. I half buried it the way cats do. Then the wolverine comes and finds it.
Okay, so it's up to the wolverine to find it.
And in fact, there was a wolverine. It was really a famous one, but it was in Glacier. But the wolverine, in a single day, they had them GPS tracked, and I may be totally off on the numbers, but the spirit is there. I think he covered something like 50 miles and did 17,000 vertical feet. He went up and over the Continental Divide in a day trip. No trail. I mean, there isn't a trail there. I mean, he's going up and over and through the cliffs and down the other side. So they're just amazing creatures. So, but they also don't like people. They don't dig on people. So
I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. But, you know, they're just one of those creatures, and now if you get more people out there, there's issues. And we won't even talk about the off-road and the off-roaders and the slednecks.
Fuck them.
We'll save the mayonnaise militia for another day. All right? So, another piece of good news.
Yeah, good.
Spring. It's starting to feel spring. You feeling a little bucky? You kind of getting some ideas, some plans for this upcoming season?
I certainly am.
What are some of your plans? I want to hear what some of your ideas are that you're kind of excited for, things you want to do.
Oh, I've been thinking about Glacier National Park for a couple of days now. I mean, that's like my all-time favorite place in the entire state, which we didn't get to see last year, so the anticipation has built up.
We did too. We saw it on December 30th.
We did, a little bit. That's the only thing I've been thinking about lately. But you have plans for us to go out of state.
I do. I think a trip or two or three to Utah and a little in Arizona, the Canyonlands area.
I would love to go there.
I think we're going to take desert people to the desert.
Yeah, for the first time. I am desert people who's been living in rough, cold climates, Nordic climates for the past, 20 whatever years.
Right.
I still have not adjusted.
You're still not there, huh?
No. Nope.
So I get those kind of plans. I definitely there's a trail on the Olympic Peninsula that I'm really itching to do on an overnight trip.
That's a close one to us. So that would be easy to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is it?
Well, there is a trip that starts at Rialto Beach. Remember Rialto Beach?
I do.
You start there, but you actually hike on the beach. And you go up, and you're actually roadless. There's no roads, but you're like 10 or 11 miles of all beach hiking. And then you got an overnight tent spot.
I think you pointed it out to me. When we were there. All right, so sign me up.
That's high on my list. I think it'd be really cool. We did that one. Remember the one? It was car camping. But you remember when we camped right next to the ocean?
Yeah, we did.
And I can't remember the name of the campsite. We just lucked into it.
Yeah, we did.
And I can't remember the name of it. But it was car camping, but it was really cool to wake up in the morning and hear the waves, you know.
Yeah.
So that's in my plans. we, everything also is COVID dependent,
Yeah.
on things.
But we're a little bit more independent this year because we're going to buy a rooftop tent. Mm-hmm. So we, we're not hustling to get to a camp spot or find a spot to sleep when it's too cold. And
it's going to make pirate camping, if we have to, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it's going to make pirate camping much easier.
Yeah.
Pull up in the dark, unfold the tent.
Yeah, it's just that worst case scenario wouldn't be too bad,
right. Well, it wasn't as bad, but when you have a tent, like the one night we spent in the paved parking lot.
Yeah,
that wasn't cool.
That I was okay with it because we were safe. The place we were at before was definitely not safe.
So you need to describe.
You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that night, or should we leave it for another episode? I think we might as well do it. What do you?
Okay, so we were in Bozeman. We had done Beehive Basin.
At Big Sky.
Up by Big Sky, and had a great day. And then we were looking for a camp spot. Everything is filled. And so we kept going down the Galton Valley, down the Galton River. Campsites filled. Campsites filled. Campsites filled. And then we started desperation as it was getting dark. And this is in September, so it was getting kind of chilly at night.
Yeah.
And we go one spot we can't find, and then we go all the way up towards Highlight Reservoir, and we go up this road. And I thought, well, we can go up this road. We'll find a turnout. Nobody's going to be driving this road tonight.
Yeah.
We get up there. We find a little turnout. We find a flat spot. We set up our tent.
Pull everything out. Set up the tent. Pump up the mattress. Get the food out. Get the chairs out.
Everything. We crawl into the tent. And there we are. We're ready to go to bed. And all of a sudden, headlights. Vroom. Then more headlights. Vroom. Then vroom, vroom, vroom. And the road is 2 feet from the side of the tent.
Yeah.
We got more cars. And then pretty soon we figured out it was the college kid crew was going up above us to have a party.
Yes.
And our discretion told us that they're going to be drunk and coming down this way. And we're 2 feet off of the road in the dark, in a tent. Not safe. So we threw everything back into the car, drove all the way back down the road to where it was paved. And there was a stock area for like horse trailers and off-road trailers. And we slept on a paved parking lot in the corner.
That wasn't too bad, honestly. First of all, we have a very good mattress. It doesn't matter where we're on. It's always soft. But, I think my main concern was staying safe. And
yeah, it was better.
And so it was just nice to be able to get a good night's sleep. Not worried about your skull getting crushed.
Yeah, with a passing drunk college kid.
Yeah.
Speaking of safe.
Yeah.
So we have had a couple spring-like days, but there is one danger that we're dealing with all the time. We have half mud, half ice, wet ice. The trails are so slick right now.
They are.
So.
Which is why we have yak tracks.
So you are a big yak tracks proponent.
I certainly am. I should be an advocate for yak tracks. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I don't know if you guys know, but I grew up in Iran, in Isfahan, Iran. So that's right in the center of the country, which is desert. So I grew up not seeing snow, not knowing what ice is. So now that I live in the West, I am still not comfortable on ice. I don't like slipping. I don't want to fall. I just hate it. No matter how many times I practice, get out of your comfort zone and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I still don't like it. I mean, I'll get out of my comfort zone, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
Right. I'm not going to enjoy it.
So, yes, I would like to have yak tracks on my shoes, so I can actually walk a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. And it's been working just fine, what I have. Beautifully.
It has been working out, but
yes.
Yeah, the yak track, and you even ditched the tracking poles.
Yeah.
I've noticed you just went with just straight yak tracks.
Well, the tracking poles is just one more thing for in my hands. I like to have my hands free, so you know, if I see something pretty, I want to be able to pull it out of my bag, go like this, right? Then, you know, put the pole down and then walk away. Oh shit, I forgot the pole. Go back, grab it, and all that. Yeah, the pole is really not.
Not your jam, not your favorite.
It's not. No. Yeah.
So I have another brand of. They're essentially yak tracks. It's just a different brand, but there are times I forget.
Yes.
Yak tracks, and I was going to give everybody out there my big tip.
Yes, you should. It's very handy.
So I've had it where I've gone out and I've walked up the ice just fine.
Yeah.
And I'm coming down, and now I've already fallen on my fat tuchus 4 or 5 times, and I'm getting sick of this.
Yeah.
And
you know what I would have done?
Huh.
Just swallow your ego, sit down, and slide on your ass down the trail.
I've seen her do it. So, but my big trick is, if you're ever in that situation,
yeah,
take off your boots, take off your socks, put your boots back on, put your socks. Now you're sacrificing the socks.
Yeah, you are.
Put your socks over your boots.
Yeah.
You will not slip.
You know, hiking shoes are bulky. Would you tear through your sock?
You might, but you just need to get it on.
You know what
somehow.
you can do? Instead of slipping it on, you could do a Band-Aid around your shoe with a sock.
You could do something like that if you could tie it. But
I have traction a little bit in the front.
But it's actually really amazing how much you wouldn't think cloth, but that actually gives you a ton of traction on the ice.
Yep.
So that's my little tip.
You also have another tip.
I got another tip?
Yes, you do.
What's my other tip?
Remember when we had our friend visiting from California,
yes,
and we took him to Weir?
Yes.
What was your solution?
So another little trick, if someone's not willing to take off their boot and sacrifice their sock.
Or maybe they don't even have a sock.
You can break off boughs of preferably cedar.
Yeah.
Or any kind of conifer that's dense. And what you do is you put the branch on the ground and step on the branch. Put the next branch on the ground, step on the branch.
Or you could just tie it around your shoe.
Yeah. We did the thing. I've had it where I've grabbed both ends of it and just kind of
wobbled. Oh,
it works as well. But that tree branch trick in a pinch, if you only have to go
just a quarter
feet. Mile or what, it's like not that long, not worth sacrificing. Yeah. Especially my socks, because they're $15 a pair, because that's how I roll.
Balea.
I roll big time.
You and I both love that brand.
Yeah, it's a great brand.
It certainly is. It's worth your money.
I think I might slide on my butt rather than sacrifice socks. But I'm saying in a pinch, you can do the cedar bough trick.
Yeah.
Or the sock over the shoe trick. And they both seem to work. I totally forgot about doing that with the cedar bough. There's always...
Which I think is... for some reason, it's cooler to me to do that because you're using nature to get yourself through nature. There's just something not wild, but just natural about that. The secondary plan that you had.
Well, I don't want to show off, but I think, there's times I've whittled out a pair of skis too.
You what?
I've whittled a pair of skis.
From?
Oh, I just took a tree, chopped it down, and whittled.
You have?
No, of course not. No, I've never whittled a pair of skis.
Don't pull
I was pulling your leg. You're so trusting. No, I'm being totally facetious.
All right. Moving on.
So, I think, that's coming up in spring times. I'm getting super jacked. I know my hopes are going to be dashed by the weather a couple times.
The weather, and here I'm going to have a surgery in a couple of weeks or so. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So,
you're the only person that says hopefully you're having a surgery, by the way.
Yeah, I just want to do it and get it. Yeah. And then recover from it. So we might be well into spring by that time.
And this is the last of the big C surgeries.
Yes. the last one.
The last one.
The last one.
No more hospitals. No more.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
so we're actually might have video of you hiking with your T-Rex arms.
I was gonna say hiking with your tits out. You said T, and my mom would talk about breast cancer, or you and I had that in our mind, and then T. So I went straight up.
I think the titties will be out.
Sure, why not? I'll sport them. I fucking earned them.
She had an upgrade.
Yeah, the hard way.
The hard way.
Yeah.
You had to wreck the car first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know what? I had another rant.
Yes.
But I've already went on one, and I don't think I should do 2 rants in any one podcast.
So I think it's... I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. You're right. I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah. You're actually right, because I think it's nice to finish things on a happy note.
Exactly.
Rather than on a mean, disgruntled, angry, or bad spirits.
That's true. And what's the funniest part is, speaking of happy notes, we have been recording footage and getting pictures of our trips
since forever.
And
okay, tell me exactly when we...
I haven't gone all the way back, but I'm sure there's stuff from the Bozeman days. I know there's stuff from the Bozeman days. Old school.
That's when you had your BlackBerry.
Uh-huh.
Is that called BlackBerry?
Yeah,
no.
I had a BlackBerry.
Yeah. So did you have... I know you had photos, but did you have videos on there as well?
Yeah, a few. It was before videos. My Nikon D100, which I did have in Bozeman, was my first camera capable of recording
video. Those contents may not be very, flattering, or they might be very old technologically. But it'd be nice for you and I just to, relive and reminisce and, see what we did. But it's also nice to see the progression of everything you've had.
Well, and some of these old memories I've been putting on MtnMisfits.com. So I've been kind of going on the Wayback Machine. So I just put up a video and a few images from our trip to Glen Lake.
I have to say that was thoroughly slick, Red.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm a professional. You see how I just...
Nice segue.
The canoe was going that way, then we're back on course.
All right, yeah.
But no, I've been doing this, and you're talking about reliving old memories, and I'm putting those up on MtnMisfits.com, and I relive those memories. Yeah. And if anyone wants to check them out, and you can get an idea of some of these hikes and these trips, and if you want to take themselves or just live vicariously, go to MtnMisfits.com and check them out.
Definitely go
Check it
there.
out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
We're also on all major social media outlets, but we I guess we prefer you go to the website, right? Is that where you want?
Well, they'll check it out, but you can also go to Facebook and see the same content, or YouTube. YouTube, you get the video in 4K, which is really
higher
cool.
quality. For higher quality, go to YouTube, please. And
That's right.
Thank you.
So you just search for us, MtnMisfits, on any of them, and you'll find us.
Or if you think you're a misfit, you do belong.
You do belong. This is your club.
Yeah.
And part of the club is, thank you for subscribing to this podcast. And if you would, please give us a 5-star review. Just nothing but 5-star. We don't want any of that 4-star bullshit. Okay, give us a 4-star. It's fine.
No, I'll be coming after you if you give us anything less than 5 stars.
She has connections. You're not that anonymous. Or just write a quick review, and maybe it's what we're doing good, or what we could improve, or what you would like to see.
Yeah, sure.
All that feedback is warranted. So this is Monday.
Yeah.
We're going to put this out on a Monday, and we put out a podcast.
Out on a Monday?
Yeah, it'll be out tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
We're rapid turnaround around this
nice.
joint. We're not sitting on things.
I thought you misspoke, so I had to stop you. I mean, I don't mean to stop you from talking. I just thought you misspoke. And then, so I just had to kind of try to, because if people are listening.
I meant Tuesday. Tuesday. No, Monday for sure.
All right. So you're going to put it out in a couple hours.
Yeah, it's going to be out in a couple hours so people can see this bad boy because there's no editing going on in this bee. It's just straight.
In this bee?
That's right. I'm being hip.
Since when you started to talk like your 70-year-old mother.
Oh, sorry. You don't be such a C.
She's not 70. She's 60-something, right? Oh, she's 70?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
We won't disclose Mama's age.
Maybe in the next episode we'll talk about why what she's talking about when she says a B or a C. I'm sure you can guess.
I'm sure we can guess.
Yes. But she's a very proper lady.
Just don't be a C word about it.
Yes.
So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
And we will speak with you next week about a new adventure. And we're going to add in some new wrinkles. This thing's evolving. So I got some more ideas.
So bear with us because...
it's going to get better and better.
Yeah. We're going to be cooler, I promise.
We are going to be cooler? No. Alrighty, so that's it for Mountain Misfits.
That's it. You did awesome.
You did awesome too.